here with at CPAC Mexico with the president of Mis amigos migrantes, pues aquí estoy.
Total catastrophe, and it is a crisis.
Of a child, right there. All these NGOs, you're fake. It is this, the crisis of children.
Thank you so much for joining in. I'm Oscar Blue for Real America's Bush News. This is last moment information coming in. The information coming in from inside of Venezuela, where we have contacts of journalists. So today this happened, and I want to play the video for people to understand why are we doing this live feed, to explain if it is a reality that this actually there was an attack, because this was speculated that it was an air attack, or it was an attack directly by the government of the United States of America inside of Venezuela, targeting a manufacturing of synthetic, liquids, or a warehouse or a company that makes synthetic materials that they were used to traffic in international waters. That was the speculation. Now we can basically address, as we have been talking the whole day with journalists inside of Venezuela. Just for everybody to understand, we just came back from there. We were there just less than a week ago. We were 5 days there in the borders with Venezuela and Colombia, right there at the limitation. And I said to every single one of you, there's tensions right now. There's huge tension at the border. There's a huge tension with the National Guard being deployed to every single outlet, every single border that connects to Colombia. You can see the tension. You can see the discomfort of the National Guard. That international media was present. I was there. I was present. So they were extremely uncomfortable that I was completely there. They even sent a guy on a motorcycle threatening my life. It was a Colectivo group. They sent him from the Francisco de Paula Santander bridge. I was right there at the limitations. They sent him to me. And the guy basically said, if you don't stop recording, I will have somebody that basically will push you to the Venezuelan territory and you will be held captive. So another boat has been destroyed in international waters. But what happened? There was a huge speculation that the United States of America bombed or somehow destroyed a facility next to international waters that is, in the part of Maracaibo, the state of Zulia. Now, we're going to put the map of where this company is. There's a lot of speculation. There's a lot of assumption that it actually happened, that actually didn't happen. The Venezuelan authorities have not reported anything yet. It sounds like it did happen, and it sounds like it did not happen, and it sounds like a broken phone and broken information. But we got the latest information. But first and foremost, I want to play the video of how it started, how the President Trump was asked. So misinformation that is led by the leftists saying, oh, he said this, he said that. We accurately say this is what happened. So let us play the video for people to understand what are we going to be talking about today.
About the explosion in Venezuela that you mentioned in the radio interview. Did the military do that? Can you share your number?
Well, it doesn't matter, but there was a major explosion in the dock area where they load the boats up with drugs. They load the boats up with drugs. So we hit all the boats, and now we hit the area. It's the implementation area. That's where they implement, and that is no longer around.
So he says it doesn't even matter. There was a place that they load the drugs with, the boats with drugs. Now we're going to put the location of this company. Now he says, I try to understand Donald Trump. He says that he basically hit this facility, or they were targeting this facility. So we ended up doing the investigative reporting with our contacts that we established inside of Venezuela. And this is the actual statement from, the journalists inside of Venezuela. And there was an actual statement from the company that is actually being accused of being the trafficker of synthetic liquids and synthetic drugs through international waters. So the company, his name is Primasol. They already released a statement, and this incident happened on the 24th of December, late at night. So the statement is, the Venezuelan government, this is the informative report from journalists, the Venezuelan government has neither denied nor confirmed the alleged attack. This silence raises serious questions, as all indications suggest that an incident did in fact take place. Last week, specifically on December 24th, an explosion was reported in Maracaibo, in the state of Zulia, at the company Primasol, which is dedicated to the distribution and sale of raw material and chemical supplies. However, the company Primasol issued an official statement saying that what occurred in one of the facilities was an incident that they were able to control, denying the versions of circulating on social media that it was an attempt to link what happened there to a broader attack relating to drug trafficking activities. In Nicolas Maduro's most recent public speeches, there has been no mention of this situation, which has further fueled speculation surrounding the events. So let me just be accurately speaking about this. This is not the first time that this has happened in Mexico. Just recently, the Department of Homeland, the Department of Treasury was the one that put out 12 companies in Mexico that they were related to Los Chapos, that is the cartel of Los Chapitos, that is the fraction of the Sinaloa cartel with El Chapo Guzman. 12 companies that they were related, and most of them in Sinaloa, and others in the state of Sonora and in the borderlines. These companies that they were related on distribution of synthetic drugs, which means that a lot of these companies, they are used as a frame to be distributing these synthetic liquids. So fentanyl and these other synthetic drugs will be made. So these 12 companies were exposed to the world by the Department of Treasury of the administration of Donald Trump. So the Mexican government will go in effect enclosure these companies and investigate who were in charge. Also, the Department of Treasury at that particular time and juncture, they put out almost 15 faces of the people that they were actually in charge of distributing these synthetic liquids into particularly the cartel of Los Chapos, which means it leads us to what is El Cartel de los Soles doing in Venezuela. This is a company that is dedicated specifically to synthetic liquids and chemicals, and now it is being accused of being the one that is distributing synthetic and illicit drugs through international waters. Now, is there a confirmation? Is there an investigation? It is extremely difficult to do that. Why? Because the government of Maduro, it is the one that is being accused to be in cahoots and to be in charge. And he is the head of the snake of El Cartel de los Soles, and he was the one in charge to send Tren de Aragua to be distributed in the whole continent, and ultimately the target to be in New York, to be in Chicago, to be in Denver. So it's extremely difficult to get to the accuracy of the information, as if it's this company. It is highly, involved with the potential to be in cahoots with the organized crime of Cartel de los Soles and trafficking into international waters synthetic drugs. Until now, Nicolas Maduro on his morning conferences, and every day that he does his morning conferences to talk about the government and the regime, he hasn't said anything yet. Why? It is obvious that he's not going to say anything yet, but the statements of Donald Trump, to make that boldness to say that, it raises a lot of, not only speculation, but a lot of doubt. Did it actually happen? Did the United States actually did a strike on this particular place? That it was planned, or did it actually just happen into an explosion on this particular company that is called Primasol? Now, let's look into Primasol, where it is located. Now, I want you to put attention to Primasol, this company that actually reported the explosion. And this is the company that actually Donald Trump, it was talking about, that it was a massive explosion into this company that is right there on the docks in international waters, where they load these boats particularly, and they're trafficking synthetic drugs into international waters there. Until now, today, they just destroyed another boat that reported 2 people that they were killed. two narco terrorists that were killed on this boat, potentially, presumably trafficking synthetic drugs into international waters. Now, let's talk about this because this is extremely important. I want you to understand how Primasol it is located and where Primasol it is located. So we go to Google Maps, and this is curious. If you go to Google Maps and you see Primasol right here, if you extend where it's located, so Primasol, if you see, it is located right there on the borderline where the international waters are located. And this is specifically where the boats are being specifically destroyed. So it raises a lot of speculation for people to understand. I'm not assuming, I'm not saying it did actually happen. I'm just saying this is what it actually looks like. So if you go right here, there's one Primasol right here in Valencia, and the other Primasol that it was actually, this is the one that it was actually blown up. It is extremely close to the international waters. So it raises a lot of, a doubt. Did this actually happen? And did this actually was a strike, or it was an explosion and nobody's talking about it? It is really close to the capital of Caracas. And it is really close to the dock area where they have been loading the boats. As you see right here, these are the docks areas and the areas where speculation, it is saying that, this is the place where they are offloading the drugs to be trafficked into international waters, to the place like Curacao, the place like Aruba. And it raises a lot of, speculation. This actual explosion did actually happen or not, or if it was an accident of an explosion, or if it was an actual strike, or if it was something that happened out of an explosion close to the dock area of Primasol. So once again, for people to understand what was the statement of Primasol, if you go right here, and I will try to read this and I will try to translate what the statement of Primasol, that is the actual company that actually reported the explosion. So I will try to read it and I will try to translate the best that I can. So it says, second communicated official statement from Primasol said, dear clients, allies from commercial companies and community in general. From Primasol offices, we informed that on the morning of the 24th of December, we registered an incident inside of our installations. The situation was attended at an immediate form by our team with the fire department, activating all the protocols of security established. The event was controlled, luckily, without nobody being affected and no people getting injured. At this moment, we are continuing with our 24-hour labor. Also, we are cleaning, and we are doing an evaluation of coordination with the authorities of the actual state. We completely deny, categorically, any version that is circulating on social media, which are looking to affect the prestige of our founder and our organization. We clearly, we are transparent in clarifying this with responsibility, that these affirmations, they have no relation whatsoever with the incident that occurred, and they don't correspond to the information without being verified. With more than 14 years of trajectory in the country, Primasol reaffirms our compromise with the development on this industrial companies, security of our equipment, and the respect to the community and the actual establishment of our responsibilities. We appreciate profoundly the trust and the respect and solidarity of our clients, allies, and people of other companies. So this is what actually happened. Now, why it got taken out of context? Because at the same moment that this accident or explosion or whatever, if it was a target, we don't know. Really, I don't want to affirm. I'm just informing what it is on this company that is Primasol, that is basically the one that is being accused of, the synthetic trafficking through international waters. But apparently, Primasol has released a statement saying, we have nothing to do with this. And ultimately, we have nothing to do with this. Has nothing to do with us. And at the end of the day, also, Nicolas Maduro has not released a statement. Believe me, I'm not saying with the affirmative action that this not actually happened or did happen. I'm just saying at this particular moment, it would have been a win-win situation for Nicolas Maduro to come out and to say the opposite or something else to just win the narrative. Or, that particular thing, that particular situation. There's a comment right here that said, Trump said a boat dock, not a building. This is close to the boat docks. I don't know if I explained myself correctly, but it's close to the boat docks. And this is directed to this particular company. So there was no other explosion and no boat dock. This is the explosion that they're talking about. So, we are intending to understand, in our contacts inside of Venezuela, this is the only explosion that took place. It was in Maracaibo, Estado de Zulia, and particularly it was directed to this, particular company that is called Primasol, that is one that is, in charge of synthetic chemicals and all this kind of stuff, which again, I'm repeating this again, this happened again in Mexico. In Mexico, just recently, the Department of Treasury designated 12 companies in Mexico that they were in cahoots with the Cartel de los Chapos, Cartel de Sinaloa, the fraction of Los Chapitos, that they were in charge of giving the synthetic, illicit substances to the fraction of the Chapitos. 12 companies. These 12 companies by the Department of Treasury were exposed. Not only the companies, but the people that they were in charge of distributing the synthetic drugs to the fraction of Los Chapitos. So it raises a lot of questions. Did it happen? Did not happen? Did it happen? Did not happen? It raises a lot of questions. And we need to, see what is going to happen in the next incoming hours to see if there is a reality of this and to see actually if there was an explosion. Now, I will repeat this video again for people to understand that this is the information that it was released on this conference. And this is the actual statements. Now, they're referring to the 24th of December, which it is talking about this explosion in particular that happened on this particular company.
Can you say more about the explosion in Venezuela that you mentioned in the video?
Explosion in Venezuela, as you see.
Did the military do that? Can you share your details?
Well, it doesn't matter, but there was a major explosion in the dock area where they load the boats up with drugs. They load the boats up with drugs, so we hit all the boats, and now we hit the area. It's the implementation area. That's where they implement, and that is no longer around.
Is that the only strike that you guys have done?
I don't want to comment.
So it's saying where they load the docks. This is close to the docks, an implementation area. Presumably, this is the company Primasol. So, it gets you to understand, did it happen? Did it not happen? Was it a strike? Was it an actual explosion? If you look at it from the stand of Nicolas Maduro, if he goes one-on-one with this, he's provoking for the United States to come in more if it actually happened. So, of course, he's going to remain silent and he's going to not say anything because actually he's going to get the legitimacy of that it actually happened. He's not going to come out of statements. He's just completely going to deny it. So it can actually, if you look at it that way, you can assume that it actually happened. And in a strategical way for Nicolas Maduro, he's not going to come out and say, we were just hit. And this is a violation of this. And he's not going to say it. Why? Because it actually will bring more heat to the actual situation. Now, what I can inform to you guys of what I saw in these borders that I just recently visited just a couple of days ago. I was in the borders of Venezuela. Extremely dangerous. The tension that you feel on these borders, it is not, to play around with. The National Guard of Venezuela, people are saying on the left, they're basically protecting their country from being invaded. From who? From, this is a regime. This is a dictator. And the majority of these people that they speak on defending Nicolas Maduro and defending the regime are white liberals, Hispanic liberals, and Black liberals. They have never lived what a person in Latin America has lived. You have never gone to extortion, kidnapping, killings, mass graves, extraction of organs, decapitation, dismembered bodies, assaults, cartel takeover on states. You have never lived narco terrorism, but you want to talk about and defend Nicolas Maduro and defend the regime. It is completely stupid. These people are completely incompetent. They don't even know what the actual Venezuelan people are going through right now. The Venezuelan people, as I talked to them, a lot of them, they were just saying to me, you know what? I don't want to speak on camera, but the only thing that I can tell you is that we want to be liberated. And I hope that it's fast, and I hope that it's quick as possible. And I hope that something happens. The majority of them, they don't look at another option by, the United States going in. And the majority of them are saying this. The only ones that they say the opposite are los chavistas, that they are from Hugo Chavez, and the ones that they are far progressive mercenary leftists, that everybody knows in Venezuela and everybody knows around the globe that those elections were stolen. And these people go by the the National Commission of Electoral inside of Venezuela reported that the people voted for Nicolas Maduro. Of course, it is controlled by the state, and it is controlled by their political party. The same thing that they're trying to do in Mexico. They're trying to remove the Institute National of Electoral, and they're trying to create their, electoral particular, organization so they can have control of the votes. This is what is actually, happening in Venezuela. So did it happen? Did it not happen? We don't know. I'm not going to confirm this, because actually for me confirming it, it will be actually me having legitimate information that it was actually a strike, or that it actually happened. By the words of Donald Trump, he's saying it's an explosion and something that we took it out. I don't know if that happened. Now, by the statements of the company Primasol, it's saying that it was an incident, that it was under control, that it was controlled also by the fire department, by people that they were, trying to control this incident. And as I just showed you, Primasol, it is located really close to the dock area where they are potentially, loading the boats, that everybody, tries to understand where is it located, where Primasol is located really close. As you see right here, Primasol is located right here. So it's right there on the dock area. From here to here, it's really close. So this tells you that, all of this international waters is where all these boats are being taken out. All these international waters, from the parts of Curacao, from the parts of Aruba, all these international waters is where the boats are being taken out. So it tells you, did it happen? Did it not happen? Was this company, this company was involved? Did this company was involved or not? It's really difficult. Why? Because if it is on Mexico, I can tell you in Mexico, potentially we can go and investigate, and we have the freedom to still investigate and to see actually the reality, travel over there, go over there and investigate that this company actually was in cahoots or was with the organized crime working and distributing synthetic liquids to the organized crime of the cartel. In Venezuela, it is impossible. If you do that, you will be killed. And if a journalist goes and does that, it will be completely arrested. Now, what the journalist can do is go and report on the incident only, but ask these kind of questions to the authorities. It will raise a lot of awareness for them to say, like, whoa, what are you trying to do? Who are you trying to give information to? And immediately they will be questioned and be taken into custody to say, give me your phone, let me see your contacts, and let me see who you're giving this information to, which it will lead to the majority of these journalists are being charged with terrorism and traitors to their country. So it is extremely difficult to get the accuracy 100% of information, like digging in. These journalists actually, they know the information, but to get it more into preciseness, it is extremely difficult. Why? Because the government has control of it. And they prohibit you to go to these particular places. Like I was right at the border and I wanted to look more into the militarization of this border, which is one of the borders that Tren de Aragua has a lot of control, that the guerrillero group from Colombia, ELN, has a lot of control, where the ELN has put explosives, has attacked internationally this particular crossing. And it was really difficult for me to get there. It was difficult for let me just say once, the crossing was consistent. People were crossing back and forth. It was normal. But in terms of security, you have to be with somebody. And if you're there alone, recording alone, it is actually so easy for them to have contacts on the other side, threaten you, push you to the Venezuelan side, and hold you for captive. And that is it. You're done. They will search for your phone. It actually happened to a journalist from Chile. The journalist from Chile was on the Venezuelan side. He was arrested, taken into custody for questioning, and specifically taken in for questioning, and it took him 8 hours. 8 hours, specifically to know what this guy was doing there. And he was released after 8 hours of investigation. Imagine that. So imagine how the freedom of speech for journalists, it is over there. So this is why I made a video talking about how progressive, mercenary, woke liberals and white liberals and Hispanic liberals and black liberals and all these people that they pander on social media, and they go on their social media like tough guys and talk about, the regime of Nicolás Maduro and how Israel is involved and how Mossad and Israel installed Maria Corina Machado, all this nonsense. And they talk about these things, reading, these articles on Google and go on ChatGPT, and they do their searches, but they don't live the situation that we're living. They don't live the actual situation that we're living of insecurity. They do not know. They live in their comfort of their home in the United States of America. They just live. They live comfortably. They can spread this information and then go to sleep comfortably. Over here, we're living another reality. The Venezuelan people have lived another reality. More than 12 million migrants of Venezuela have left Venezuela. And the majority, they will tell you that this is because of the regime and this is because of Nicolás Maduro. 12 million that they're scattered all over the place, plus the ones that I saw, migrating through the Darien Gap. You can see the picture behind. 4 times I crossed that. And to see people die from Venezuela out of the necessity, out of looking for a better place to live, and children being drowning, women being raped, pregnant women dying in decomposed bodies. It is horrible to see that. And for people to come and give the information and try to defend Nicolás Maduro in a way, or try to install their ideology, into social media to say it was this is because of this, is because of that. It raises me a lot of questioning to say, have you ever gone through narco terrorism? Have you ever lived in a narco state? Have you ever lived in a country that is number 3 in the world for assassination towards journalists? Do you know how careful we have to be when we're opening our mouth to not say names of leaders of cartels and fractions and all this kind of stuff? Do you actually know that? You have the freedom to do so. We don't have the freedom to do that. It is extremely difficult for us to do that because we will immediately be targeted. And it has happened to me just like 4 to 5 months ago. They tried to enter the gated community where I live to arm men. And it is a reality. We have the video of it. We have all of it. So this kind of situations, when you haven't lived the situation that the Venezuelan people have lived, and that they actually live under a regime, under a dictator, the justification always by the left, the sanctions and the embargo, leave that on the side, but just talk to me about, do they still have sanctions to export and to do their businesses with Qatar, with all these places in the Middle East? No, they don't. So it raises a lot of, it's just the justification of the embargo and the justification of this sanctions. It's just so, so the knowledge is so close-minded. You don't actually live what these people live. And it is actually horrible what they're living. And every single one that you talk to them, every single one, they will tell you, you know what, we cannot do this anymore. We're living, the pensions and the retirees receive $3 a month, $1 a month, and the professionals, the ones that graduated and did a career, they live under $3 a month of payment. All of this with social programs, bonus of this, bonus of that. It's a socialist country. Bonus of this, bonus of that. But you will talk to a white liberal, and you will talk to a Hispanic liberal, and you will talk to a black liberal, and they will tell you that's not socialism. Why don't you go live there then? If you're defending him so much, why don't you go live there then? Why don't you go and defend that and right there at the border and show your American passport and cross that borderline and show them, oh, Here you go. I'm an American and I'm here to defend you. Let's see what happens to you. And a lot of these libtards, they say, well, there was Americans living over there. Yeah, you go to the tourist areas. It's like you saying, oh, no, Mexico's doing great. I went to Cancun. I went to Puerto Vallarta. I went to La Cabo, and it was so great. We had it like, I was in the banana and I was in the parachute. It was so beautiful. Like, I don't know what these conservatives, these right-wingers are talking about. That's what you're going to say. But you don't go to the rural areas. You don't go to the barrios. You don't go to the normal city. You don't walk what these people walk. You don't live what these people live. Try to do that not under your dollar economy, under the Bolivar economy, under the Venezuelan economy. And if you want to come to Mexico, try to do that in the Mexican economy and live in a barrio and see how that goes. When you're saying mass shootouts, mass killings, kidnappings, extortion, mass graves, decomposed bodies, dismembered bodies, bags of human remains. When you're seeing all of that, it's a different story. You know, it's a different story because when you live it and you say it on social media, it's completely different. You know, when you say it on social media, it sounds so accurate, and it sounds so intelligent, and it sounds so your intellectual, knowledge, it sounds so perfect. But when you live it, it is completely different. It is a different ballgame, and you cannot compare that. This is why I love to go to the place. You know, this is so many years risking our lives to go directly to the place and to go directly on the ground to see it. Whether I'm standing there and I'm just looking at it, I'm there. And I'm just looking at the situation, how it's actually taking place and how it's actually happening. It is completely different as to just say, well, this article says this article says that, which it is understandable. It is knowledge also, ultimately, at the end of the day. You know, it is great to have that massive information, and that massive information in your head and in your brain is completely, outstanding, but it's completely different as living the actual situation. So going back to the topic, did this actually happen or not? So this is the speculation of this company that is called Primasol. This is the speculation that this company had an explosion on the 24th of December, and Primasol already released a statement. Now, let me just read it again for people to understand what this informative report is talking about. And this informative report was released from, journalists inside of Venezuela towards me. So it says, the Venezuelan government has neither denied nor confirmed the alleged attack. This silence raises serious questions, as all indications suggest that an incident did in fact take place. Last week, specifically on December 24th, an explosion was reported in Maracaibo in the state of Zulia at the company Primasol, which is dedicated to the distribution and sale of raw materials and chemical supplies. However, the company Primasol issued an official statement saying that what occurred at one of these facilities was an incident that they were able to control, denying the version circulating on social media that attempt to link what happened there to a broader attack related to drug trafficking activities. In Nicolas Maduro's most recent public speeches, there has been no mention of this situation, which has further fueled speculation surrounding the events. Did it happen? Did not happen? We don't know yet. But the statements of Donald Trump make it completely different. This is why it raises a lot of questions. It raises a lot of questions. Did it happen? Did not happen? Of course, the American people are going to say, well, it did happen. Donald Trump said it. And if Donald Trump says it, well, the people that they are pro-Trump or they are pro this administration or pro-MAGA, they're going to say it did happen, Oscar. It did happen. So a lot of people are going to say that. But we had to be completely transparent from a point of an objective information that we have to give. We have to be completely transparent what it is, the current situation inside of the information of Venezuela or outside of the information of Venezuela that is this. Donald Trump said this. Again, I'll put it.
Can you say more about the explosion in Venezuela that you mentioned in the video interview? Did the military do that? Can you share your details about
Well, it doesn't matter, but there was a major explosion in the dock area where they load the boats up with drugs. They load the boats up with drugs. So we hit all the boats, and now we hit the area. It's the implementation area. That's where they implement. And that is no longer around.
Is that the only strike that the U.S. has done?
I don't want to comment.
He said, I don't want to comment. So it tells you that, you know, the information can be, I don't know, you know, and a lot of the information sometimes that gets directly to Donald Trump, it gets so turned around. You know, I remember in the past administration in 2016 and 2020, I was walking on a caravan. And at that particular time, the Trump administration put the pressure on the AMLO administration in Mexico, telling them, hey, you know what, I'm going to tariff you 5% if you don't stop this massive flow. And at that particular moment, it was a huge threat because 5% was, imagine, now it's 25%. He's not playing around, but back in the day, it was 5%. So he put this threat of a tariff. And, you know, they were the advisors at that particular time, which I think that they were horrible. The advisors at that particular time told Trump, hey, you know what? The president of Mexico is stopping the flow in the south border. He's controlling the flow in the south border. And he already controlled everything. And I was walking on a caravan. And I'm listening to this. And I'm about to go in a hit with Steve Bannon, walking on a caravan. And I'm listening to this. I'm like, who in the hell is telling him this? That's a lie. That is a complete lie. So I just went on our network and I said, I don't know who told him this, but it is completely incorrect. If you can just send the message, I'm walking on a caravan, almost 4,000 people. They're walking on the south border, directed again to the north border. I don't know who is informing him this, but it actually raises a lot of questions of who is advising Donald Trump and who of his advisors is telling them this information. Another information that was just disclosed, I think it was Kristi Noem, yes, had a meeting with the Mexican president, Claudia Sheinbaum, not too long ago. I'm talking about like half a year ago. And this potentially got me to get on a plane to go and disclose and debunk this information. Kristi Noem, on a meeting with Donald Trump, sat down and said to him, Mr. Trump, Mr. President, you know, the president of Mexico, it is saying that she has returned more than 500,000 illegal aliens or illegal migrants or illicit people that cross the border into their hometowns. And I said, that is a lie. Who told her that? And it was the Mexican president. So the Mexican president lied to Kristi Noem. Kristi Noem went on a meeting with the president of the United States, and she told him that. And also Kristi Noem said, you should take, you know, credit for that because of your pressure, she started acting and deporting these 500,000 people. So I got on the plane. I went to Tapachula, a border that I'm really familiar with. I stand in the border with Guatemala, and it is wide open. Migrants are coming back and forth. I crossed the border to Guatemala. OIM is still active, the International Organization of Migration. I don't know how they're still active, but they're still active. Why? Because they're waiting for the 2028 election to see if the Democratic president or a rhino or a globalist or a neocon, it is going to win the election so they can open up the border and be part of the globalist compact on migration to make these multi-million billion-dollar industry that now everybody's getting exposed, that we have been talking about these NGLs for more than 8 years. And now it got massively exposed in Minnesota, but we have been talking about it for so many years. Fake marriages, fake matrimonies, fake families. And it was open. Nobody was getting deported. As a matter of fact, there was a massive bottleneck of migrants on the south border of Tapachula. And there was a bottleneck of more than 20,000. Even we had an interview with the leader of the caravans, and he was saying, I'm about to start protesting because the Institute National Immigration of Mexico has a massive bottleneck of people that they're staying here, and they want to go to the city of Mexico to move around. So what 500,000 migrants you're talking about, President Sheinbaum? That was a complete lie. The information that gets sometimes to the president of the United States, it is like a broken phone. And I'll be an affirmative with this. These two incidences and these two occasions that happen, it makes me understand that sometimes it's like a broken phone. They don't get the information accurately and 100% to him. And it has to be immediately exposed like it has to be. You know, I went to the UNHCR to the part of Tapachula, and And when I arrived there, they were still operating. It's still open. And it's like, what is going on? Why it's still open? Why the UNHCR, it is still open? Who is funding the UNHCR? And it is out of your American taxpayer. A thing that we have exposing Ben Berquam, myself, and other colleagues in the United States of America, that we have been on this fight since the start, since like almost 10 years now. We have been exposing every NGO. This that's happened, that just happened in Minnesota, it is not a surprise for me. It is remarkably great because it is exposing the fraud that they're doing. But this has been happening for so many years. It has been happening through Chuck Schumer, basically advocating to these NGOs to be funded. Has been happening with AOC, Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, Veronica Escobar, all of them advocating for the living of the American taxpayer, funding with billions of dollars to these NGOs to be working on a foreign territory that is our land in Mexico. And the epicenter of trafficking was over here, that they were operating fully with the globalist compact of immigration, funneling these people and being trained to enter to the United States of America, an enormous trafficking ring of children. A lot of people know that. I'm a broken record. I'm repeating the same stuff for so many years. So this that happened in Minnesota, it is not a surprise for me. It is not something that is shocking for me. Why? Because we have been seeing it in every border between Mexico and the United States. We have been seeing it on south of the border in Tapachula, when we have discovered lawyers doing fake marriages and fake matrimonies. In Tijuana, we have a video of a lawyer saying, oh, it was not a marriage, it was a ceremony. We stopped doing it. These lawyers, these NGOs have been making these fake matrimonies and fake families for the rest of the time. We discovered also other progressive mercenary activists that they were from the United States operating in shelters in our country of Mexico, making themselves pass or making themselves believe to the migrants that they were part of the Department of Homeland Security, and they were making a link through Google so the migrants can go there and deposit to this application, what is it called, Western Union, to more than $2,000, so they can make them understand that putting that application on Google with the seal of the Department of Homeland Security, press button to push your name, then you deposit on Western Union, then you will present yourself to the port of entry. And when that happened, I went over there and interviewed the family. They told me that I needed to pay $2,500 for each person. Who told you that? This activist that I gave them this information, he presented himself as a lawyer in these shelters. And he went and he presented himself with this sheet that he paid $2,500. Of course, the Border Patrol agent is going to say, or the customs agent is going to say, no, we don't accept payments on Western Union for you to enter. That's incorrect. This fraud of these NGOs, of all of this that has been happening, has been occurring for so many years. It has been well documented by so many journalists. And so many people have been documenting this for so many years. And it has been exposed for so many years. There's a reason why there hasn't reached, at that particular time, we were exposing it under the Biden administration. This is why we got shut down on social media so bad. We got censored so bad. Our accounts got, completely attacked by the Biden administration, by the Biden regime, by these progressive mercenary liberals and these leftist media channels. We were getting attacked massively. So they did not wanted this information to go out. And this is the reason why we got so censored on those 4 years. Now you will see that this is actually a legitimate situation that exploded in Minnesota. And I saw so many Somalis on the Darien Gap, pivoting from one topic to another, from Venezuela to the Darien Gap. I saw so many Somalis on the Darien Gap. This is nothing new. We walk with so many of them from Somalia. And so many, and the majority of them are, religion-wise attached to Islam. So, the entitlement for a lot of people that they're watching, the entitlement of people from Somalia inside of Minnesota, that attitude is exactly the same that it has been happening since the Darien Gap. When they get to the Darien Gap, it was completely amazing how the entitlement of how, they were basically saying to the people, you know what, this is what we deserve. You need to serve me to the United Nations, and ultimately not only to the United Nations, but also to every single international organization who was helping them. And it is not a situation which I am lying. It is a reality. I want to show you something that is something that is important for you guys to understand. What am I talking about? And I have exposed this, oh my God, so many times. So many times I have exposed this. So many times, man. I have exposed this many times. But this is something that as I was at the border with Venezuela and Colombia, I recorded a video. It is a 22-second video, which I am trying to find right now. And this 22-second video, I'm basically recording the vehicle of the United Nations. And let me just see where it's at. So I'm trying to find it right now. I'm trying to find it so I can give it to you. God, this phone. I'm done with this phone. So how's everybody doing? Thank you so much for joining in. We're going on 46 minutes into the broadcast. Trying to get a video so I can show it to you right now. Thank you so much for joining in. So the situation as we speak right now of the attack, did it happen inside of Venezuela or not? So this explosion that Donald Trump talked about today on this I don't know, a briefing that he gave outside of this conference that he was giving out to press with Netanyahu, visiting the White House, basically explains that, if it was an explosion, or what was it? So a lot of the people are talking about that if it was an explosion, this is the situation that happened. If it wasn't an explosion, what happened? If it was an attack, direct attack by the government of the United States, what was it? So as I was explaining to you guys, Prima Sol, it is a company that dedicates themselves to distributing synthetic drugs, to distributing synthetic liquids and pre-chemicals. So it is now being accused of doing that. And they are completely neglecting and denying that they are, entitled, they're dedicated to that. As a matter of fact, that they released a statement, which I'm putting right now on the screen again. And they're saying that this particular, let me just go to the video 6262. Okay, hold on. This statement says that it was an explosion. It was controlled by the fire department of Venezuela, and they completely neglect every information that is coming out saying that it was something that they had to do something with, an attack or something like that. And well, they completely debunked that. They're trying to say it didn't happen. I don't know if it happened or it did not happen. We're just reading what we basically think that it could, the information as we are talking about right now. Let me put this video on so you guys can see why am I saying about why am I referencing to the United Nations? This is a 22-second video. This is your taxpayer money. And I'm going to do a video and post it on X and all my social medias. I just posted it on Spanish. This is your taxpaying money. And let me just amplify the video. Yeah, let me amplify it. You see that? You see that vehicle? I was coming out of the hotel, which I was staying at, that it was 10 minutes away from the border of Venezuela, in Cúcuta, Colombia. Isn't that a nice vehicle? And I have always talked about this. This is the fraud of the United Nations. They're the head of the snake. OIM is the head of the snake. The UNHCR, these are the head of the snakes of these people massively trafficking and massively weaponizing migration for their own profit. Look at that vehicle. That is your American tax-paying money. The United States of America, it is the one that gives more money to the United Nations. And I'm not even lying about it. Look how nice this vehicle is, man. This is late model. Late model of the United Nations. I recorded this as soon as they were coming out of McDonald's, by the way. Doesn't it look nice? Wish that any American would have this kind of vehicle. It's a Land Cruiser. Do you know how much those Land Cruisers are? Look at that. That looks nicer. And I have seen so many of these, man. I was walking in a caravan on one, you know, I don't even know how many. I walked 12. But, you know, out of all the 12 that I walked, I remember one time we were walking on one for hours. And it was suffocating. It was hot. There was a lot of children on that caravan. And somebody saying Panama also, oh, yeah, Panama is the Mecca of these people, man. They took over a land that is called Ciudad del Saber, City of Knowledge. That was the territory of the United States way before when they had possession of the Panamanian Canal. And it was given back to Panama, right? In Panama, it lasted less than 24 hours when they gave out of that whole compound where it was a military station for all the retirees and all this kind of stuff. And they gave it out to all these international organizations, which we have reported, UNHCR, OIM, even the Clinton Foundation, it is there. All of them. And they are remodeling the biggest, enormous building for the United Nations. And they're still there. Why they're still there? Because they know that this is a huge business. As I was walking in this caravan, let me go back to what I was talking about. You know, there was a child that it was what, and we cannot help this child. It is illegal in Mexico to go and help and carry. It's not like Panama that you saw me in the middle of the Darien Gap carrying children. It's not like that. So in Mexico, you cannot even touch, you cannot even do anything. So I was seeing the child barefoot with a alleged father. And I said, hey man, carry your child. You know, it's the hot, the concrete is so hot. Carry it. You know, you actually can see that she has blisters on the bottom of her feet. It's like, hey man, I'm tired. And when I'm having this discussion, and several journalists are having this discussion with this man, a vehicle from the United Nations, it is, to be specific, from UNICEF, it is coming from this side, late model. Inside of this vehicle, there were 4 individuals inside of the vehicle with air conditioning, looking at the child, and we're just screaming at this fool and this buffoon and telling him, lower down your window and help the child, man. That's your job. And he said no, all the way there. So whatever, you know, I'm just like, wow. I'm baffled of all the things that they have done. This is a lucrative business for them. It is nothing else, people. It is nothing else. It is a business. It has been a business. This is why they are disgusting. This is why they need to be defunded. This is why they have destroyed borders. This is why under their globalist compact of immigration, thousands and hundreds of thousands of migrants have died in international waters through Europe, trying to get to Italy, in the borders with Morocco, in Ceuta, in Spain, in South America, which we have seen because of their globalist agreements and globalist compacts of immigration. And they want to talk about, oh, the globalist compact of the environment. Try to go to the jungle that there's tons and tons of trash that you guys need to pick up because of this disaster that you completely destroyed, the little Amazons that is the Darien Gap. Look at your vehicles. It is nice. Aren't you there to help? Aren't you there to serve? And this is what you spend your money on, all the American taxpayer. This is late model vehicles from Toyota. It's nice. Just ask how much this Land Cruiser it has cost. So ridiculous. It sickens me to the stomach, man, to see this, to see these organizations. And I have been in the middle of the lion's den in Panama, in the City of Knowledge, and I have gone into the door of OIM and try to knock on their door and say, like, come out, like, give an explanation why you're doing this. Why are you not helping the people? You're living on a really nice late model office with air conditioning and all your late model vehicles, and you have a crisis in the middle of a jungle, and you're not doing anything. It's like this. It's Cucuta, the border with Venezuela. There's a huge crisis inside of Venezuela of poverty, of hunger, of insecurity. There's a huge crisis in Colombia of trafficking, in Medellin, in Bogota, of trafficking of children and trafficking of little children, little girls from Venezuela, that they are being pimped out and they're being prostituted from 9, 10, 11, 12 years of age. It is not a lie. And you see them with these late model vehicles. What are they doing? Having these meetings of what? What are these meetings for? Why are you helping? It's not even helping anything. It's just exposing yourself for the, basically the fraud that you are. The United Nations is just completely, I have said it multiple times, it needs to be defunded in all counts. God bless you all. Thank you so much for joining in. Buy me a coffee is right there. For people that want to contribute to my independent reporting and travel fund, it is pinned right there. People that are there on the YouTube chat, it is pinned right there. And you can go to my YouTube channel and just, pin the information there. And, if you guys want to help out for our next trip. Thank you so much for joining in. God bless you. 56 minutes going into this broadcast. We are live from our home in Tijuana, Mexico. We just returned back from our trip of 7-day trip to the part of the borders with Venezuela. I wanted to go there to see if there is actually a tense situation between the Venezuelan government and those borders. It actually is. They have informed me that a lot of the borders on the south of Venezuela and on different locations, also they have a lot of tense, situation with the National Guardsmen, just, being extremely high alert. Why? Because they don't know what the United States of America and the current government is going to do. And actually, they don't know if these attacks on international waters, destroying these narco-terrorist boats, if they're going to escalate to go a little bit more further and further and further. And as we are explaining this explosion, we don't know if the president of the United States of America says that we took it at. Two. Yeah. The president of the United States of America says we took it out, this warehouse or this company, this explosion, and it says it's really close to the docks. I just shown you what are we referencing to that he's saying that is really close to the dock. So I just shown you that it's a company that is called Primasol, and I gave you all the information. If you guys want to go back and see what I'm talking about, this is the company Primasol, which I can say that it's close to the limitation of the dock area, that this is all the road to the dock area. So it is not far away from here to grab this road and go straight, go here, and go here. All roads through here. So it's not difficult to just basically say that this is connected and this is in international waters. This is one of the things that we can actually say we don't know, but it's the company already spoke and gave out a statement. There's a comment right here. Did you actually record live while in Venezuela? No, I cannot record live while in Venezuela. I will be immediately arrested, detained, and charged with terrorism inside of Venezuela. No. As a matter of fact, I had to do something else to go and cross to Venezuela in a different way, which I'm not going to say, but I did differently to cross to the particular location. And you cannot go live. You cannot, it's impossible to go live. And to do what I had to do, impossible to go live. And to speak what I had to speak is impossible. I immediately will get arrested and charged with, I said, terrorism. The majority of the people, that says these kind of things. I had a couple of people that I was really, having contact back when the elections were happening between María Corina Machado, Edmundo González Urrutia, and Nicolás Maduro. And one of those people got arrested, and he is on the basement of a prison potentially going to be charged with terrorism. And it is going to be really difficult to see him again. And sad to see this. It happens all the time. And it happens not only in Venezuela, it happens in Cuba. That this actually is a copy paste of what Castro was doing in Cuba. Glad to see you, Oscar. Glad to see you, Oscar. Glad to see you, Oscar. Are safe. Saw your report on RAB just yesterday. Thank you. God bless you, Michelle. Miss Maddie, God bless you so much. Hi, Oscar. Thank you for your reporting. Thank you so much, Miss Maddie. God bless your dear heart. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. There's another question. There's another comment. I'll read your comments for just like 5 minutes. I'm here praying for you, Oscar, and your family and your health, sir. Thank you for your words here. Thank you so much, Miss Terry. There's another comment right here. Be careful, Oscar. You would have been tortured. Yes. That's what they do in a prison that is called helicoide. That's what they do. Specifically, that's what they do. On Facebook, keep safe, Oscar Blue. Blessings to you, sir. Thank you so much. So God bless you guys. Thank you so much for joining in. I'm Oscar Blue for Real America's Boys News signing out. In the next incoming weeks, we are going to have our own show in RAB Español, Real America's Boys News Español. Our network. Incredible people. Like Mr. Rob Sig, Mr. Parker Sig, that he's the mastermind of the network. They have advanced on communications and took the opportunity to go in Spanish. I have been informing for you guys for almost 8 to 10 years in English. Every time in English, all my hits in English. And I was thinking one day, every time that I was informing in English, I was like, man, I wish that one day I can do it in Spanish. And this is like a dream come true. After all these years, after all these years that have happened, now we get the opportunity to do it in Spanish. And it is an incredible opportunity. Of course, I'm going to continue doing Real America's Boys News in English, of course, going on, with Eric Bolin, Grant Stansfield, Mr. Steve Bannon in the War Room. Of course, absolutely. I'm not going to leave that. That is our priority. That is the main priority, Real America's Boys News. But to open up and to have our own show in Spanish and to speak about the way that I'm talking to you guys in Spanish and to get it to the Mexican, to get it not to the Mexican population, but the whole Latino community, and to fight off the leftist media that has contaminated the Hispanic community. I think that it's extremely important because the Hispanic vote is extremely important in the United States of America. And we need to be there with boldness and to show the current situation on the ground. And we need to fight this. And we need to stand, together to fight this fight. So I think that it's an incredible opportunity. I thank God for this opportunity. And, inevitably, our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And I think that it's incredible that we're about to do it in Spanish. And it's going to be phenomenal having incredible guests. That they're going to have discussions, and we're going to talk about these topics that they're affecting. I'm going to have so-called debates also with leftists and also people on the right, so we can have normal discussions and debates. Debates that they are with respect, and ultimately, at the end of the day, I know a leftist that is not going to be falling with the narrative of having respect. But I think that those kind of conversations need to happen. And, testing ourselves, and ultimately not only that, to challenge ourselves to say, this is what happened under your administration. And this is what and they can say, this is what is happening right now under your administration. Like, show me the proof, those kind of things that I think that they're necessary. And to do it in Spanish is going to be, I think that it's going to be extremely important. Thank you so much. Somebody saying subtitles, please. I know some Spanish. Well, you can go on. Now you have a lot of things that you can do. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Lisa. Michelle, you're saying subtitles. Yeah, there's a lot of things that you can do. Now you can go to the application and just put subtitles. A lot of these applications, they have subtitles. Now, for people that they don't understand what is going on, and let me just, before I leave, there's a question right here that I would like to answer. And this is another profile by the name of Michelle. It says, why do your videos go private when it's over? Because this platform on YouTube, it does not matter if I leave it on, they will try to take it down. In every single video that I have done, even without saying bad words like this one, that is just informative reporting, it is going to be flagged as terrorism, as this, as that, and I will receive a notification from YouTube. I have tried for more than going on 6 years, they demonetized me. It's been 6 years since I have been demonetized from YouTube, and it is obvious that they do not want me as a YouTube partner anymore. And it's sad that we came to those conclusions, because I was always, correct on every single, situation where it was the regulations of YouTube, but they took away everything. And this was part of the 4 years of Joe Biden. The 4 years of Joe Biden were horrible for all of us, that we were fighting against this globalist agenda and the progressive mercenary woke leftists, that they had the opportunity to go and censor us and to go and take away everything from us. And they did that. They canceled us on PayPal. They cancel us on this, they cancel us on that. So one of the particular situations which I'm putting on private is because that way the channel will not be reported and taken down. And I just immediately put it on private. If it has to do something with, I said one little word off topic, or I played one little clip that it has to do with this network or this, because they will report it immediately. They will say, I will receive an email that says, oh, your channel is being demonetized. You cannot monetize on this and this. And I'm like, oh, so it's sad. It's sad that it's, that this can, this can happen. Says, ditch YouTube, put yourself on Rumble. I'm trying to do that. And I think that I'm moving to Rumble. I'm moving into not only Rumble, Getter, and X also has been censoring me. X has been massively, they just censor my stuff so bad. I don't know what's going on. But my name is being flagged all over the place, and I am already adjusted to that. Let me see. An AI can change your words. Yeah. Oscar, can you get Cash App card to replace Super Chats? Cash App, we're not available to have it over here in Mexico. So, somebody saying Rumble is garbage. What other platforms do you recommend that? What do you want me to send me to Twitch? It's a platform that you can say, and it's uncensored. So a lot of people say, well, it sucks. Well, videos on True Social. Well, that's another platform that I will try to, we got like almost, I never tried to consistently be on Getter. I have like 20,000 followers at Getter. I think it's 22,000, something like that. Let me see how many followers we got on Getter. The platform is there. Haven't put out content in Getter consistently, but let me see how many. We got 22,800 followers on Getter, and I'm trying to do the best that I can right there at Getter. So I'll try to, try to do the best that I can. Chuck uses Rumble. Yeah, I know that he uses Rumble. Locals, I don't like it. Too much tricky stuff. Telegram, I had my channel at Telegram also, but it's just it's difficult. So I'm trying to do the best that I can. Facebook is done. X, it is also being a horrible platform right now. And YouTube, I'm starting a new channel. Possibly I'm going to start a new channel. I will basically advise everybody when I start a new channel with the name of, with the name of the new program that I'm about to use. So the new program, it is going to be the show, right? So I'm going to promote the show with my name, host by Oscar Blue. So, it's going to be one of the things that, the page and everything, basically the front and the image that is going to change. Somebody's asking questions who says, how are you censored on X? I see your post. Well, the reach, it is ridiculous. I don't have a big platform on X like all these other people. I have like 66,000 followers, but you get like 10 clicks And it's just like, what's going on? Have you been working out at the gym every day? I don't stop, man. That is my place where I take off all my stress, every single stress that I take out. So I don't stop. I don't stop that. Thank you so much for joining in. I'm gonna do the video of this United Nations video. I'm gonna post it right now so you guys can see it, and I will have my opinion of it. You know, they're disgusting. They're horrible. You know, one of the most disgusting organizations possibly in the world. So somebody saying where? Well, where do you mostly post? Because I'm mostly on Facebook and hardly see you live. No, I don't use Facebook anymore. I don't use it. It's just irrelevant. It's just the platform has become so censored and so horrible that is, you know, I have 101,000 followers. When I go live right now, if you go to the platform, show me how many people are connected in Facebook and tell me if it is not BS that I am 101,000 and how many people are connected in Facebook. If you can tell me right now, you will know how am I horribly censored. Stupid. It's just stupid what they did to us, but it is part of it. You know, it's part of the work. It's part of the, you know, agenda. It's part of everything. A lot of people have asked me, hey man, you should have like, I don't even know how many hundreds of thousands of followers. When you start doing it, look, 40 people. Gotta be kidding me. Out of 101,000, tell me if that is not incompetently stupid. You know, when you're doing it only, you know, when you're doing it only for clicks and likes, it is different when you're not doing it with a purpose. So that's why I'm not even concerned. What level of premium do you have here on X? Premium Plus will give you the best visibility. I think I have that one. I don't even know. Where do you check that? Let me just see right here. I will do it with you online. Let me go to my profile. It says that I have premium. Notice this is your last chance to upgrade to 40% claim offer. Unlock the blue check, fewer ads, create tools, and more. I have the premium. Oh, okay. Go and enjoy 0 ads with Premium Plus. Upgrade to Premium Plus. Oh, okay. I haven't upgraded that. So it says profile customization, expanded bio, customized navigation, app icons, in team, verification security, upgrade to unlock, upgrade, request to inactive handle, radar. Oh, okay. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. I didn't know that. I did not know that. Thank you so much. What is your name? Raemi. Raemi, thank you so much. So much. I will upgrade right now. How much is the upgrade, by the way? How much is it? Do you know how much is the upgrade? Let's press upgrade to premium. Cancels. Manage your current subscription, review terms, or manage your subscription from your Apple iTunes account. Well, I will try to do it. I will try to do it right now. I don't even know how you know, it is done, but I will do it right now. Is that Manso's hat in the background? That's a similar one that he had. That's why I put it right there. He's a Mexican hero, close to, you know, close to what I think that it was Emiliano Zapata. You know, not as Emiliano Zapata, right? But you know, Emiliano Zapata is my hero. It is the Mexican hero that I look up to. And, you know, Carlos Manso was the modern, one small fraction of Emiliano Zapata. And, you know, when you get those kind of individuals in your country and they assassinate them and they take them away, they mark your life for the rest of the time. We're going to remember him as the, I don't even know words to describe him. God bless you guys. Thank you so much. I extended almost 1 hour and 14 minutes. It has been nice talking to you guys. I hope that you guys enjoy the broadcast. I don't want to extend because if I leave it on the video, you know, it will catch not the views that a lot of people get, like, you know, it's an hour and 14. I don't want to watch it. It's too much. So has been nice talking to you guys tonight. God bless you. Stay safe. And like we always say, people, God's plan, it is our